Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, the honorable examiners. Let me introduce myself. My name is Fadia Holisah from English Education Department. In this beautiful morning, I would like to say thank you for the opportunities that has given to me to present my proposal Skripsi with the title The Washback Effect of Authentic Assessment in Ever-Writing Classroom. So the first one is about the background of the study. Assessment is an important education aspect because it is directly related to the students. In teaching and learning activities, there will always be an impact that students feel, whether positive or negative. So, Brown in 2003 in Hawaii, 2012, there is principle language assessment which includes practicality, reliability, validity, authenticity, and respect. Washback refers to the effect or reaction of testing on teaching and education, Huang 2019. Thus, it can be concluded that the washback implies the influence, both negative and positive, of assessment in teaching and learning process. Thus, washback is closely related to the form of assessment. Frank and Berzeli 2004 suggest that traditional assessment strategies are not suitable for measuring project-based course objectives. Therefore, an alternative assessment is to use a portfolio because the components of the portfolio are students' reflection in the learning process, improvement of students' progress, and prospective goals. Portfolio and the alternate assessment is the connected. So, according to M. Hawali and Gosdiawa, in 2016, authentic assessment is a variety of techniques that can be used by teachers, instructors, educators, and lecturers to assess students' professional and personal development. Lee, 2018, argues that continuous assessment aims to produce independent graduates who are able to assess their own work based on the criteria that are in accordance with the curriculum. In the short, authentic assessment is a process that involves various forms of performance measurement that reflects the learning, achievement, motivation, and attitudes of students. This is according with the opinion of Callison, 1998. The portfolio is one part of the authentic assessment. Portfolio is a collection of students' work that aims to record progress and reflection. LM and Axel, 2018. The focus of portfolio assessment is more on awareness and autonomous learning that add the structure of language so that it can be is said to be a reflection of learning. Thus, portfolio is not like just doing questions like multiple choice tests. A portfolio is type of file with a multidimensional perspective or student growth over time, especially in student writing skills. In the background of the study, the lack of research that confirms that portfolios are more effective than other forms of rating assessment is one reason for this study. This study aims to determine the response of EFL students to the application of portfolio assessment in writing classrooms and to identify the washback effect from implementing portfolio assessment in EFL writing classroom. So, based on the background of the study, the research questions is how do EFL students respond to the application of portfolio assessment in writing classroom, and what are the washback effects of implementing portfolio assessment in EFL writing classroom? The next chapter is literature review. The first is washback effect. Washback effect is an effect of influence in the process of the teaching and learning activities. Washback refers to the positive and negative effects of testing and teaching and learning. Hong, 2012. According to Brown's 2017, washback is often characterized as either positive or negative and recognized as playing an important role in the relationship between testing, teaching, and learning. So that washback can produce positive and negative results in teaching and learning activities. The second one is authentic assessment. Muller 2014 describes authentic assessment as a form of of assessment in which students are asked to perform real-world tasks that demonstrate meaningful application of important knowledge and skill. And next is portfolio assessment. A portfolio is a collection of student work, assignment, response that aims to record progress and encourage reflection along and after 2019. And the last one is writing ability. Writing is the ability to ignite and develop ideas which then use certain practice so that they can be developed to maturity in certain context. Writing is considered the most difficult and complicated uh, language skill to learn compared to other language skills. Irawati 2015. And then the next chapter is research methodology. The first is research design. This study uses a qualitative method with a case study research design. According to the NANJA 2014, qualitative research methodologies are considered suitable for researchers who investigate areas of study that reveal facts. Creswell, uh, 20, Creswell 2003 urges that in case studies, researchers explore the depth of a program, event, activity, process of one or more individuals. This research uses random sampling. Random sampling is a sample that allows every items or the universe to have an equal chance to be present in the sample. Ethical 2017. It means the sampling method is all students of English education in FL writing class have the same opportunity to become the research sample. So the research site and participants of this research are 10 students who have taken writing classes at University in Bogor. They previously had to be active in doing the assigned portfolio assessment. This is important because the purpose of this study is to explore the response and the Washback effect by EFL students in using portfolio as a form of assessment. The next is data collection. The research seeks collected data by interview and diary. An interview is an inter- intentional interaction in which a person obtains information from another person. Gay et al. 2012. And then the research used semi-structured interview to obtain data. There are three questions that are focused on exploring how the response felt by EFL students. Research conducted interview with agreements that were recorded orally through a digital voice recorder so that the data was stored properly. Abra 2019. And then the diary method. Why? Because the research used the diaries of EFL students to analyze whether the diaries that EFL students used as a portfolios reflected the results of previous interviews. The diary method studies thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in a natural work context and the characteristic of work situation that can uh, fluctuate on a daily basis. Only at all 2010. And the research instrument in this uh, data were collected through two types of instruments. The first is interview and the second is diary. And the last one in this research methodology is data analysis. The first is interview. To analyze the interview data, the researchers use the thematic content analysis according to Clegg and Brown in 2000 and 2006 and 2017. The steps are familiarizing with the data is the process by transcribing data. So research are required to identify in detail the respondents' data by reading, listening audio, and recording initial ideas. And the second one is coding. The research collecting data relevant to each code, so the research must be ordered the answer from the sources neatly. And the last one is write a report. The research concludes the report response and impact felt by EFL students with the assessment of assignment in the form of the portfolio in the writing class as a case study at a university in Bogor. And the next steps is diary. There are four levels to analyze the diaries according to Hatton and Smith in 1995, including descriptive writing, is description of events, and then this descriptive reflective is description of events but shows some deeper consideration in relativity descriptive language, and then dialogic reflection is there is a stepping back from the event which leads to different levels of discourse. There is an exploration of the role of self events, consideration of judgment, and possible alternative of our explaining. And the last one is critical reflection. Is this form of reflection shows events that the learner is aware that events may be located within the explicable by multiple perspectives but are recorded in influenced by multiple social political contexts. So I think the honorable examiner, I have presented all the content of my proposal from the chapter 1 until chapter 3. That's all about my chapter. Thank you so much for your kind attention. And I will be ready to answer your question, and I hope I will answer your question very well. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.